Shalom. Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. News and prophecy, linking the things happening worldwide to the Holy Scriptures. Giving the faithful elect the remnant of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. All right, the needful information. All right, as the scriptures say, there will be wars, rumors of wars. It also speaks in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, of rumors that would constantly go out as a warning to our people so that they didn't fear the times that they were in. Because if you're not rooted in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai via the volume of the book that we have access to through the Holy Spirit that can only come by the blood of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai through his death, burial, and resurrection. If you don't have that understanding, or you're going to crash out, or you're going to lose it, you're going to fold. And the elect were not born to fold, as you know, you sincere brothers and sisters are catching hell. All right, the Lord has us on edge, but you know, outside of the hell, you know, we are being comforted by prophecy being fulfilled. We're watching our enemy, you know, turn exactly into what the scripture said he would via, you know, accusing the accuser of the brethren, you know, tapping back into his pseudoscience, using his media to make our people out to be to blame as to why his system is collapsing. You know, ignoring the corruption, you know, trying to go to these museums like Smithsonian and, you know, blot out his brutal history of rape, robbery, and murder, and the truth of how this place was really built. But it's all going to backfire on you devils. Yeah, we know the 2/3 of our people are wicked and are a problem. All right. But, you know, just as Donald Trump is getting ready to wage war. He waged war on the northern kingdom. Now he's getting ready to wage war on the southern tribes. You know, they have not waged war on pedophiles. They have not waged war on the corruption of their own people. All right. That has ultimately undermined the U.S. Constitution. Right. They haven't waged war on the Catholic Church. They haven't waged war on true wickedness, and they had all the time to do that. And now that they're at the very end of their kingdom, they're getting ready to use their, you know, military ICE, which, because no one wants to join the military, now they're just going to, you know, weaponize ICE. And when, you know, these military men and ICE agents start to feel bad about what they're doing to their own citizens, they're going to bring the robots. It's getting ready to be all out chaos, just as the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai have foretold you through the Holy Spirit. And Babylon will not be healed and won't be made great again. All right. But in today's lesson, it's going to be kind of centered around how, you know, the snake is eating itself. OK, this whole talking point of making America great again, you know, pushing so-called illegals out of your country, waging war on blacks, you know, so-called blacks, because there's no such thing as black. Also, you know, this whole DEI, you know, you got MAGA Trump supporters, you know, voting for policies that ultimately are taking away rights and opportunities from their own people. All right, because the way they paint the picture is that the minority, all right, Jake, the so-called black and brown people, all right, are hoarding up all of the resources. And anytime Esau Edom's systems, you know, starts to corrode, the finger is always pointed at, right, Jake, which Jake isn't the minority. Jake is actually the majority. All right, that's another term of pseudoscience. But, you know, when Trump came in, you know, we told you immediately they're going to tap back into that pseudoscience. And that's exactly what they've done. You know, they're tapping back into these statistics. All right. You have a lot of Jake losing jobs, so-called black women losing jobs. right. But all it's going to do, all right, is, as we're going to show you, it's just going to point out how inept you so-called white people are, because even with a 500, close to 400, 500-year head start, the majority of you Edomites are broke, okay, downtrodden, left out, and this whole thing of so-called white supremacy has been tarnished. And some of you are waking up. You know, a lot of you are still cheering on and screaming and drinking your beer, acting like the bushwhackers, because you know, just to see, so-called black and brown people targeted and called out, that just makes, the average everyday Edomite's day. All right. But we're going to show you, y'all are losing as well. Okay. All of y'all are going to lose together, you along with the 2/3, and you're just a 2/3 Edomite. Your elites have pretty much, left you out to dry. And this whole concept of MAGA, it's all a fallacy. This place is fallen. It's not all right. Okay. And without Jake, okay, the so-called black and brown dollar, the so-called, black and brown worker, all right, just like Egypt, it's going to collapse. So the Lord has set you devils up with the perfect pride. As a matter of fact, let's get the book of Obadiah before I play this video. All right, the book of Obadiah, because there's two sides to this. Yeah, we get on the 2/3. Yeah, we know our power, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. All right, is going to use the angels to put spirits on Esau to come after our people. We know our people are going to suffer, and rightfully so. But let's not forget the brutal history and the wickedness that goes on here in Babylon the Great. Throughout the four corners of the earth, you have left your footprint of evil, okay, and spread decadence everywhere. So pointing the finger at Jake, all right, and acting as if you can do it on your own. You don't need Jake, and you're gonna make America white again. That ain't gonna work, and y'all are finding that out quick. Because the concept, there's a scripture where Pharaoh called Jake lazy. All right, let's look that up real quick. I'll look it up on my phone, then I'll pull it up. Pharaoh calls, as a matter of fact, I'll do it here. Pharaoh calls Israelites lazy. Yep, let's get the book of Exodus 5 and 17. Yeah, Exodus 5 and 17. Let's get that. So pretty much that which is then is now. All right. The people who have worked the hardest for this kingdom are now being called out as lazy, and that the problem. Okay. And basically sucking up all of the resources when you got these small hats, the true welfare babies. Okay. Really getting it in. But we'll get to that too. This is the book of Exodus 5. I'll start at 13. Meanwhile, the Egyptian slave drivers continue to push hard. Meet your daily quota of bricks, just as you did when we were provided with you with straw, they demanded. And this is what's happening at these jobs. There a lot of people are getting laid off. A lot of people are quitting. And instead of hiring more people, they're just putting more hell on you. Okay. And we've already served our hardcore captivity where we were getting our asses whooped. Now it's more of a spiritual aspect to it. And we're more so economic slaves, where ultimately we are bound to have a job, bound to work just to keep a roof over our head, food in our stomachs, have daily bread. You have to have a job. Okay. And if you don't do it, somebody's going to do it. People are in competition for, the little jobs that are left. And as AI takes many more jobs, all right, it's going to lead to more crime. It's going to lead to more perplexity. It's going to lead to people losing their damn minds. But then they whipped the Israelite foreman they had put in charge of the work crews. All right, just like they had Stephen in the book in Django, the movie Django, where they had Israelites watch over other Israelites, and your supervisors are Israelites, all right, putting hell on you, catching you on the phone. It says, why haven't you met your quotas either yesterday or today, they demanded. So the Israelite foreman went to Pharaoh and pleaded with him, please don't treat your servants like this. They try to have a heart, so to speak. All right. We are given no straw, but the slave drivers still demand. Make bricks. We are being beaten, but it isn't our fault. Your own people are to blame. And it's the same situation here. You know, here it is. Jake is being blamed for the collapse of this society when the true problem is the rulers of this society. Your elites are collapsing this society. Okay? Crime doesn't just stop at Jake. Okay? You Edomites are decrepit, all right, crime-infested people as well. Jake learned that from you. Remember, black culture was the so-called white man's science experiment. But anyway, here's the point. And there's just parallel. I'm just paralleling how things were and tying it into the now. But Pharaoh shouted, you're just lazy, lazy. That's why you're saying, let us go, all right, and offer sacrifices to the Lord. Now get back to work. See that? You're just lazy, and that's the mindset put up on Jake. Either you're lazy, all right, or you're in the way, sucking up the resources, taking the jobs we want. And then as these jobs are being, you know, like farmers and people who do certain, you know, dirty jobs are being abandoned because, you know, the Northern Kingdom or certain Jake, you know, are afraid to go there. All right. You know, things ain't getting done. So you Edomites, like I was going into, let's get this in the book of Obadiah. The Lord got you devils in a trick bag, man. Okay? The whole DEI thing. You know, now Jake ain't buying from certain of these companies and corporations, and they're folding. Without Jake, Nike would have folded. Cadillac. Do you not know the history of a lot of these corporations? You need Jake. Without Jake, your shit ain't gonna work. And a lot of these Jakes are fed up with you Edomites, although they're lost in the sauce. Okay, we're gonna show you a few videos. Jake is tired of you people, and a lot of you Edomites are you everyday low-level Edomites. You know, you're figuring stuff out too. This is the book of Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's ultimately what he's trying to portray him as the greatest, most wisest, as if he got to where he is just by being great white man, as if it wasn't slave labor, rape, robbery, murder. All right. Now I have this video here. This is off of TikTok. It was sent to me. Let's listen to this chick. Hold up. I'm not really a user of TikTok. Hold up, yeah. But so many videos was being sent to me that I created an account, but I don't use it at all. But
per barrel.
It's a lot of
what's happening with
information on here. But let's go.
What's happening with Target and what's happening with Cracker Barrel, them changing their logo, is they're finding out there aren't enough white dollars to keep this afloat. Point blank period. Point blank period. What's happening with all these hospitals that are going to have to shut down, they're realizing there aren't enough white doctors to keep departments open. Real simple. You're going to find that with engineering. You're going to find that with scientists. You're going to find that out with a whole bunch of other professions that a lot of immigrants are in, or a lot of minorities, meaning black people, brown people, Latino people, gay people are in, even women. There aren't enough white, straight men to keep these positions afloat.
And that's what this is all for, to set the American patriotic white, straight man back in his rightful position as leader, as supreme. That's what this whole Trump MAGA is all about. You know, building so-called white cities, towns, white only towns. Okay. But you just wait until they really settle in these towns and they go start to miss Jake. They go start to miss the chicken shack. Okay. Not that they want to live around ghetto niggas, but they need the vibe of Israel in order to flourish. Again, I always say if every Israelite in America, all right, packed up and flew to Mars and said, we're going to live here, Esau will come after us. Just like when Israel tried to leave Egypt, all right, Pharaoh, he came after him because that's his top human resource. Again, let's get that. We always bring this out in the book of Proverbs 14 and 28. It says, in the multitude of the people is the king's honor, but in the want of people is destruction of the prince. Let's read it in NLT. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. See that? And basically, your Esau's at the point where he figures he doesn't need Jake anymore because he got AI and his robots, and he's tapping back into him being dominant and just killing off everybody and bad. He's tapping back into that spirit, right? But it ain't gonna work. First of all, you got judgment coming your way, buddy. Second of all, America's through. It's morally corrupt and wicked. There's no way a place like this can flourish and you can just run off into the sunset and kick Jake in the ass all over again. And that's it. Put Jake back into hardcore slavery. Jake is for the rebel against your ass. Your own people are getting ready to rebel against your ass. You and your horrible track record is being called out. And you think you're getting ready to just point out thugs and crime in the hood as the biggest problem that America has? Are you out of your damn mind? What about all these missing children? What about this debt? What about psych meds and how many millions of people it kills a year? Where are all these drugs coming from? So I guess niggas, are flying all of these guns and drugs into their own neighborhood. Where is it coming from? That will be addressed by a higher power.
You're going to find that engineering. You're going to find that with scientists. You're going to find that out with a whole bunch of other professions that a lot of immigrants are in, or a lot of minorities, meaning Black people, brown people, Latino people, gay people are in, even women. There aren't enough white, straight men to keep these positions afloat. There aren't enough white, straight men that have enough dollars to keep all this going, because that's who ultimately they want to give everything back to. So these corporations and these companies are finding out the hard way your company or your small business actually stayed open because of the minority dollar or the education and drive of the minority who has had to work twice as hard, if not 3 times as hard, to get that position. And here's the part that a lot of these corporations and small businesses are missing. Nobody's even telling you anymore. Nobody's even calling you out on your racism anymore. Most people are encountering a moment, whether it's from a coworker, whether it's from a customer, whether it's from an owner, whether it's from a CEO, whether it's from a management meeting. They don't want me here. They just said something foul. They said something racist. They're quitting.
Yep. People are pretty much just getting ready to watch you Edomites crash out. This MAGA thing is a farce. It's a lie. You're trying to hide it with pointing out Jake and acting as if shit is getting better. Nah, man. Absolutely not. People are quitting on America. Jake leaving. As a matter of fact, let's get the book of Jeremiah 51. In 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon. Deliver every man his soul. And that's spiritual for us, but you're also going to have people leaving this place. Jake is leaving this place. A lot of Jake, in their, simplicity, Jake think they're getting ready to leave and go somewhere and win. It's going to get bad all over the world. All of these nations All right, pushing into this beast system, man. This, digital MOTB system. All right, but it's more of a repentance. That's how we deliver our souls. That's how we flee Babylon, by fleeing fornication. Okay? It says, be not cut off in her iniquity, for it is the time of Yahweh's vengeance to render unto her a recompense. So a recompense is coming unto Babylon. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Everybody's losing their damn mind, man. The wine of Babylon. Look at the citizens of Babylon. Look at how people are driving. This jab, the food. Everybody is just going completely mad, man. Fights all over the place. All right. The relationship and union between man and woman is all destroyed. And it ain't just Jake. All nations are through. Right now, these certain nations that come over here, Elam and China, they sort of stick together. But those who have been, removed from their customs, they come over here and they're through too. A lot of them are going back to where they came from. They're like, hell no, this is madness. So the nations have drunken of her wine, which that's her transgression, her philosophy, which goes back to the garden. Okay. It says, therefore the nations are mad, losing their damn minds. Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. This place ain't going to be healed, man. And we'll get into that too. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. See what this says in NLT. We would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Let her go, abandon her, return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great, it cannot be measured. So a lot of people are leaving Babylon. Okay. There was another one I was looking for. Let's see here. Damn, that's one I'm looking for. Let me see here. Let me just do this in the NLT. Yeah, the Lord has inspired the king of the Medes, and the Medes in prophecy that points to Russia. The Medes ruled in the land where the USSR territory bordered. Okay. Hold up. Okay, I think I know. I'm tripping. What I'm looking for is in Jeremiah 50. Boom. This is what I was thinking about. Jeremiah 50 and 16. Take from Babylon all those who plant crops. All right. The slaves. Jake. Okay. Yeah, you got few Edomite farmers. You got Edomites who do that kind of work. But kicking out the northern kingdom took away a lot of those who plant your crops. Okay. Taking away jobs from Jake took away a lot of jobs where people were doing things that benefited your kingdom, but you're doing it in your pride. Send all the harvesters away, the northern kingdom. Okay, the plowmen. Now projects are being abandoned, farms are being left out to dry. Nobody's, tilling the ground. All right, now Trump's talking about, well, we'll allow some of the workers who are illegal to stay. I forget the word. Grant them something. I forget the word, but you devils are through, man. Take from Babylon all those who plant crops, send away all the harvesters, because of the sword of the enemy. Everyone will run away and rush back to their own lands. Now let's listen to some more of this video. A lot of Jake quitting these jobs. A lot of Jake giving up on America. A lot of Jake giving up on the American dream. A lot of Jake is just like, we out of here. So your plan is backfiring on you.
They're taking the money and going somewhere else, or they're literally packing up and going to a different country. The number of videos I've seen of entire families leaving America to go back to their country of origin. Yeah, we want that, baby. That family had a doctor, an attorney, a scientist. Do you know how much money went with them? Do you know how much money went with them? That was the money that went with them that kept the car economy going, that kept the housing market going, that kept the hair salon going, it kept the home decor industry open. And their kids that are going with them, that kept school supplies going, that kept school clothes going, that kept sports going. So all these people that y'all are clapping or leaving, they are taking their dollars and their education with them and their talents, and they're going to rebuild the country, whether it is their original country of origin or whether or not they're just going to start all over again somewhere. Do you know how many Black women I know that are getting their papers together so that they can buy a home in a different country?
And they're going to go over there and lose. But the thing is, a lot of these Black women losing jobs, these Black women be working their asses off in a lot of these jobs. Rude as hell, mean as hell for the most part. But a lot of these so-called Black women be at these jobs going hard for the devil. Okay, sticking to policy. Back stiff, they don't budge on policy. Turning people just going hard for the devil. Now they out of the workforce, hundreds of thousands of them, which is judgment and it's just prophecy. Okay, but do you devils realize how that's gonna hurt your enterprise? Remember, human resources are the number one resource. Okay, Proverbs 14:28. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. So you're doing away with all of your subjects, thinking you can just handle it on yourself, and you just this mighty, white knight who just became great on his own. No, you're gonna find out you're hella inept, and the only reason that you came to the top is because prophecy said you would be at the top, and you were blessed with that sword, and that sword is getting ready to divide itself against each other. But yeah, the Lord is going to give you one more, you're going to bring Jacob's trouble, right? But everything's going to fall apart for you Edomites as it already is.
Do you not understand how much Black women put money into this economy?
The Black woman was the backbone of America. Jake, period. But the Black woman, oh my, these Israelite women in America, working hard. Okay? Working hard, man.
The number of Black women that are at home, stacking up their coins, staying in the house, saving their dollars.
And Black women, even when they lose a job, they always get a job. They over the years, now, the chickens are coming home to roost, but Eve has always been able to get a job. Eve has always been employed. Eve has worked her ass off in Babylon the Great. Jake, period. And a lot of Jake is just fed up with this shit. Okay?
And are now, thinking about getting a second visa and going somewhere else. This joke is about to collapse. This joke is about to fail. There aren't enough white dollars to keep it up. So, these corporations are finding out the hard way, and while they may not bring back DEI, I guarantee you they'll bring back some version of it.
Yeah, they go wiggle something in Jake's face, and really what they're going to bring is that chip. All right, you look at these comments, man, because they actually believe that we were sitting at home collecting welfare instead of working real jobs. And a lot of Jake is working, man. But again, they push these narratives. Racism is expensive. The end. Okay? They lied about the numbers. We are the majority. Again, that's pseudoscience. Target got cocky and money talks. Yeah, Target is catching hell now, which I don't give a damn. If I got to go to Target, I'm going to go to Target. The whole system is wicked. I'm not getting caught up in that don't shop here. Now, look, I'm going wherever the hell I need to go to get what I got. But you got a lot of Jake that ain't going to Target. You got a lot of Jake that ain't going to Cracker Barrel. You got a lot of Jake that's taking their money out of these businesses, and guess what? It's affecting these businesses. Okay? You Jake cursing out Obama. Let's get that. Jake cursing out Obama, man. Let me find that video.
Barack Hussein Obama, please have several seats, sir, or whatever pronoun you prefer. You've already served your 2 terms, and apparently it's hard for you to come to terms with the fact that you are no longer relevant. But you are no longer relevant.
When you see Jake cursing out Obama, you know Jake is getting ready to raise up on Esau. Okay? Esau think he just fit to put Jake back. Nah, Jake fit to fight back. Now they're gonna lose, right? But your own people, even Edomites, right? Even Edomites will show you, because you got Obama talking about what did he say?
I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or whatever, they have somebody that they can go.
Yeah, basically, black boys should have gay men as mentors. You got Michelle Obama telling you to rebel against your man. Don't listen to him. Right? Talking about we're losing our men to the red pill movement. So Jake, because these so-called black leaders, which this is a Hamite, but they were given unto you by your enemy. So Jake is all kind of fed up with Esau.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Shut your ass up.
Have several seats, sir, or whatever pronoun you prefer. You've already served your 2 terms, and apparently it's hard for you to come to terms with the fact that you are no longer relevant.
And rolled and bread corn, because I know well I just didn't hear Obama say what the fuck I heard him say. Now I'm glad Mr. Obama is taking time out and spending
Said Mr. and Mr.
time and doing the podcast together and shit. But I just know I didn't hear Mr. Obama Sr. say what he said. This man had the audacity to say that he believed young men would be a lot better if they had a prideful man in their life. If you know what I mean by prideful, that's just me trying not to get
the light of my life. And when I think about what my son is going to need in order to be great, I don't think, my son is really going to need a gay man. That's what my son needs, is a gay man to make sure that he's great. It's very important to me that my son has his father first and foremost. It's important to me that my son...
Yeah, they telling you to rebel against the father, to hell with the father. And that's what the whole Black Lives Matter was about. Remember, the mission statement said we want to destroy the nuclear family and put alphabet people as leaders. And see, Jake is now waking up to it.
What the fuck is he talking about? The word need is a strong word, bro. I'm just trying to understand, like, why would Barack Obama say that?
You could watch this video, A Righteous Perspective. You know, I didn't want to go too far into it, but the bottom line is Jake is fit to be a problem here in Egypt, man. Let's get Isaiah 19. Okay? Look, a lot of Jakes still stuck on stupid, but the Lord is going to put a spirit on some of these Jakes, man. Okay? Isaiah 19 and 17. I start at 16. I start at 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which head or tail, branch or rush may do. Okay? And even for Edomites, ain't going to be no work. You everyday Edomites who prided yourselves in this Edomite supremacy concept, it ain't going to work for you. In that day, Egypt shall be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and feared because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord, which the prophecies coming to pass, which he shaketh over it. Okay? The men are all effeminate. You can't, a kingdom that's in the position that America is in spiritually, all right, family wise. It's not meant to continue and stand. Okay, and they're trying to collapse the concept of America and its freedoms and liberties and do away with the Constitution to bring about that NWO. But these Americans have been used to so many freedoms. So you think you're going to establish a China-like environment over here in America and people just going to sit back? Nah, man. The scriptures say every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Let's get that real quick. It's the book of Job 20. Yeah. Job 20 and 20. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save that which he desired. It's not going to work. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Because he know he's outnumbered. He just got the power right now. And that's why he got those robots. But this word wicked is aimal, the laborer, the sufferer, the wretched one, the workman, the sufferer, the toiler, one who's in misery. That's Jake. Let's get James 5. I mean, there's all kind of video. Jake just complained, but Americans, period. But Jake, the Lord, I'm telling y'all, the Lord gonna put a crazy spirit on Jake. Okay? Remember, the 2/3 are gonna be a shield for the elect. So the Lord gonna put a spirit on these people to crash out along with this everyday Edomite who's gonna come up against his own government, come up against each other, go after Jake. It's gonna be a bloodbath, and then the Lord gonna do what he want with the elect. All right, and when they come after us, hey, it's gonna be on. James 5 and 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. I don't think I've ever read this in the NLT. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom you've cheated of their pay. Look at your gross versionette. The wages you held back cry out against you. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached to the ears of the Lords of Heaven's armies, man. See that? Talking to you rich men. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton and have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter, man. All right. And wicked Israelites were once in this position, but this speaks to you Edomites, the rulers of this world now. You have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of our Lord. So the Lord, he's working a work. You just have to take pleasure in the process of how he's beating this devil down, man. You know, all this pride, all this tough talk that he got going, it ain't gonna work, man. Remember, Sirach 10 and 7. Pride is hateful before God and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one to another, man. So this man ain't getting ready to win. Now, where I was, Isaiah 19 and 16. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women. Jump to 17. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. NLT. Just to speak the name of Israel will terrorize them. All right. And they're going to try to link the Israelites to the Jake losing it out here. They're going to try to say we, pushing our people to commit, acts against the government and fight. It's going to be crazy, but we're going to be numbered amongst the transgressors. We know and understand what we're up against, but we believe in the Lord's mercy, man. So we're walking into the fire, praising the name of the Lord. Just to speak the name of Israel will terrorize them, for the Lord of Heaven's army has laid out his plan against them. And as these prophecies come to pass, E is going to lose his mind now. As for E, let's go here real quick. Arrows of indignation. Esau is figuring out he got played by his own brethren.
But the truth is, we're not burnt out. We're betrayed. We were sold a dream and then handed a leash.
Right. MAGA was a dream. See that? MAGA is a dream. They sold you Edomite, regular everyday Edomites a dream.
I told to grind, hustle, stay loyal, but for what? So we could work our lives away and still barely survive? So we could break our backs and still get blamed for not working hard enough? This isn't a burnout, it's a trauma response. A trauma response from a generation that's been lied to, manipulated, and overcharged since the day we turned 18. I mean, we didn't fail, we got set up. We were handed debt, toxic jobs, no health care, overpriced rent, and then told to be grateful, like we're not being eaten alive. No, you don't get to just gaslight us into silence. Not anymore.
Yep. So these kind of Edomites are going to be in the streets and see they're gaslighting you with, okay, we'll give you $50,000 a year. You can join ICE and terrorize niggas, and it's going to work on some of them. All right. But a lot of these Edomites are like, wait a minute. This is unconstitutional. It's getting ready to be crazy out here, man. And we've been telling y'all these days were coming.
The system wants us too exhausted to think, too drained to fight back, and too distracted to even notice we're drowning. But guess what? Some of us are still standing, and we're not just remembering. We're waking the fuck up, and we're not going to shut up about it.
This country is falling apart at the seams. All of us see it. All of us know it. Everybody that I know realizes that we're screwed. I don't know a single person right now that doesn't actually agree that we're screwed. I don't know a single person that doesn't say our entire government is corrupt. It's mind-boggling to me how screwed we are. My wife and I were just sitting here talking about our kids and going like, we're at a point where we wish our children don't have children. That's how bad things are in this country. We're like frogs in a pot, and they've been cranking the temperature up, and now we're all starting to boil, and everybody agrees that we're screwed. Everybody. I haven't talked to a single person in months that doesn't say, yeah, we're screwed. The American dream is dead. We are screwed. But here's the issue. Here's the problem. We are all still doing this and pointing fingers at the villains that we think are causing it. It's the Mexicans, the poor people, the homeless people, the left, the right, my neighbor. We're all...
See, the elite have done a good job of dividing the people. Again, that's that two horns like a lamb. Let's get that. Let's get this too. This is Proverbs 28:2 in the NLT. When there is moral rot within a nation, its government topples easily, but wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. See, this government, Sirach 10:1, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. This is not a well-ordered government. As the judge of the people is himself, saw her as officers, and the officers, his governors, all of these people who are in positions of rulership are Satanists, they're wicked. Okay, the wicked acts that they commit, and they think that they just go sweep that under the rug and have, point at this, point at that. It's a mass shooter every other 5 minutes now. Okay, so they're getting ready to crack down, but people are noticing, wait a minute, this is corrupt. Some people are figuring out, here it is, we sit up here fighting against one another, but the true enemy is our own government. Okay, verse 3, an unwise king destroyed his people, and that's ultimately the system we live in, man. An unwise king, let's get this in, let's get Sirach 10. In the GNT. I don't think I've ever read it. And a wise ruler will educate his people, and they've fed the people pseudoscience and lies, and it's driven them mad. And his government will be orderly. All the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. And look at the people, and they mimic the ruler, because the ruler's a savage, a beast. An uneducated king will ruin his people. Bad education, psych meds, the demonic foods, parasites every goddamn where. There's a lot of these people you see roaming around here bugged out, parasites from the foods. Got to do a parasite cleanse. But that's a straight gate right there, boy. It says, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. See, that's what the world is lacking: wise rulers, a true righteous leadership. The Lord sees to the government of the world and brings the right person in power at the right time. Wait, let me read. An uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. Okay, verse 8, injustice and arrogance and wealth cause nations to fall from power, and others will take their place. Okay? So people are figuring it out.
All still pointing fingers at each other. And our inability to organize is what's causing this to happen and causing them to be able to do this to us. The minute that we can organize, that is our problem, is our inability to organize. It's our inability to freaking agree on anything.
Right, because they've done a good job at dividing you. And then when you do organize, there's going to be agent provocateurs there. Okay, I mean, the devil got it on lock, all right? But things are going to spiral out of control for this devil. The working class are going to ultimately rebel, okay? And some of these, military men, this is why he got to bring the robots. They're going to come to the conclusion what they're doing is unconstitutional. So it's going to be all kind of divisions in the days to come. And we just sitting back watching this bitch collapse.
Because the minute we start to point up at them, the minute we start to identify that it's the wealthy, that it's the government, it's the stock market and the people that are heavily invested in it, it's all the people at the top that are causing this problem. They are the villain, and they've had us all pitted against each other. They're using blue and red, left and right, liberal, Democrat, Republicans, conservatives, you name it. Whatever the label they want to give this stuff is how they have kept us divided.
Yep. Let's get Revelation 13 and 11. I just got a few things to bring out, right? Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And when you look up this word beast, okay, therion, an animal, wild beast, metaphorically of a brutal, bestial, savage, and ferocious man. Okay, this is a metaphorically of a brutal man. Okay, and that's the leaders of this world. They're completely bestial and savage, demonic. Okay, they have no, morals. They're just completely psychos, to the point where they are putting poisons in the food you eat. All right, more and more. All right, they don't give a damn about nobody but themselves, man. They're greedy monsters, man. And they figure they don't need the human race anymore. All right, they're going to have the robots, and then those who are the few who are left, they'll just be merged with robots. Okay? Meanwhile, you got our people doing videos against us every day. Like, we're the problem. You got animals just popping up with all kind of cancer, sore. This man is a complete savage. And he's done such a good job on people with his witchcraft. But see, there's going to come a point where the Lord is going to destroy the covering cast. Let's get that. Isaiah 26 or 25. Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Man, all of these lies. Okay? But Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is Babylon the Great, the revival of Rome. And he had two horns like a lamb, which he uses to oppose people, to cause confusion. This democratic republic, the left, the right. And that goes on so many levels. But now he's getting ready to speak as a dragon. See, this is the system that's going to lead to the MOTB being implemented. Which I seen a video where this clown, I believe Big Judah, he's mocking people who teach the chip. Saying, if you believe that, you stupid. All right. All right. And don't leave no long ass comment trying to defend them. See what he mean, y'all? See, just go follow him. Why are you here? We don't teach nothing. We don't teach nothing that dude teach. You know, maybe a few things, but that dude's completely off. So why are you here? We get on these dudes, truth unveiled. Y'all leave. Nah, he didn't mean it. Nah, well, just go follow him. Okay? And when all of these prophecies start coming to pass, don't come to us like, man, nah. Go to Big Judah. Go to these little side Israelites who popped up out of nowhere. You niggas told me I'm jealous that he could get all the views and I don't get. Okay. You Israelites just wait until the Lord really shows you who was telling the truth, man. Then shall be known who was my chosen, man. But we just gonna keep laboring. That's one thing you can say. You can say what you want about Great Millstone, but we have done nothing but labor, toil, teach, exhort, reprove, rebuke, edify with all long suffering, man. We have not stopped that. All these other camps caught up in these side missions and the gossip of the day and, going to these different podcasts, doing these debates, talking about this, mocking the MOTB. All right. Getting pegged by their women, talking about, God loves the other nations and this ain't that. Hell is the lake of fire is a river and over by the land of Eli. All you dudes are just a bunch of goddamn retards, man. And the Lord put this reprobate spirit on you camps because you didn't uplift his son and you didn't hearken to the rebuke he sent. So good luck. Because just as we throw up prayers every day, we throw up curses too for the enemies of the Lord. And the Lord is hearing those, and we're seeing those curses come to fruition right before our very eyes. Oh, you cursing other? Well, didn't Paul do it? Didn't Yahushua do it? Yeah, we'll be all buddy once the kingdom is fully established and, Jake come back. But for right now, as the scriptures say, for the gospel's sake, they are enemies for your sake. They had to be enemies of the church. And this is the house of David. Great Millstone is the house of David. Okay? As well as the brothers building in a like-minded spirit. All right?
And that is how they keep us oppressed. And that is how they continue to pick our pockets with taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes. We are being taxed to death. And I can't even drive down the road right now without my car hitting 2-foot wide potholes. So I don't know a single person that doesn't agree with everything that I just said.
Yeah, because the common theme is that the Edomite is just winning and a bunch of Jakes is just thugs, losers, lazy, ain't doing shit. These Edomites catching hell too. That toaster probably don't even work behind his ass.
That we are paying out the nose and getting very little back. And our money is all going into the pockets of very wealthy people. And now they're figuring out ways of replacing us with AI and automation.
That is the face of a two-time loser. Okay, let's get Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people into this new world order, one world government, where he's going to, decide who lives and kill off the majority. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth in that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, that debt. You look up this word thick clay, it's ibatyet. All right. Weight of pledges, heavy debts. Heavy debts. And what is this? What is this dude complaining about?
Now, without my car hitting 2-foot wide, they're using blue and red, left and right, liberal, Democrat, Republicans, conservatives, you name it. Whatever the label they want to give this stuff is how they have kept us divided. And that is how they keep us oppressed. And that is how they continue to pick our pockets with taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes. We are being taxed to death. And I can't even drive down the road right now without my car hitting 2-foot wide potholes. So I don't know a single person that doesn't agree with everything that I just said, that we are paying out the nose and getting very little back. And our money is all going into the pockets of very wealthy people. And now they're figuring out ways of replacing us with AI and automation. So at some point, we are going to have to.
So all of the policies and things that these Edomites voted for when it came to MAGA is biting them in the ass. Because you know he voted for Trump. I hear Edomites all the time that voted for Trump mad as hell about the things that are happening to them at their jobs and with their positions or, you know, with the economy.
To all agree that this is not a left-right, neighbor against neighbor, that this is the top versus the bottom, the haves versus the have-nots. And the one thing that I hope, if anybody hears this video, please get it through your heads that there are no billionaires, there are no wealthy elites, there are nobody that are at the top that care enough about you to save you. Donald Trump isn't going to save you. Joe Biden's not going to save you. Kamala Harris isn't going to save you. There is no rich, wealthy savior that is going to come save you from this crap. We're going to have to save ourselves. We're going to have to organize, and we're going to have to come together because we're talking about 500 people. We're talking about 800 billionaires. We are not talking about an enormous number of people that are controlling us. We are allowing them to control us. We, as a society, are like an elephant tied to a tree with a kite string. And all we have to do is organize and break free of that and take the power back, take our control back, and start to realize that our fellow Americans are our fellow countrymen. They're not our enemies. This country is falling apart at the seams. All of us see it, all of us know it, and we got to stop blaming each other and pointing fingers at each other. What we have to start doing is banding together, organizing, because the entire system is rigged. And if anybody thinks the system is broken, you are mistaken. The system is functioning exactly as they have it planned.
2nd Esdras 15 and 14. The world and the people in it are doomed. The war that will bring the destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil with one group trying to overpower another and gain control to reestablish the what the forefathers wanted. You're going to have that aspect while ignoring the legitimate government. There will be no longer free access to the cities because of their struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion wherever people live. All right, let's go here. Listen to a little bit of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me...
This is Richard Wolff. Okay, I believe he's a small hat.
Start with this. Politics in America has always been unpredictable, but the scale of Donald Trump's current troubles is far greater than even seasoned observers like myself could have anticipated. When we talk about Trump, we're not just talking about a former president. We're talking about a man who has become a symbol of deep political polarization, a reflection of America's economic inequality, and a lightning rod for both hope and resentment. And yet, what we are seeing unfold right now goes beyond politics, beyond ideology. It is the culmination of years of choices, gambles, and a system that is now catching up with him. You see, the expectation was that Trump, with his usual bravado and ability to shift narratives, would maneuver past legal challenges, past accusations, past the political storms that have followed him since before he entered the White House. But here's the hook. The trouble has multiplied, not diminished.
Right.
Legal battles are mounting, financial pressure is increasing, and the political support that once seemed unshakable is showing cracks. And when a man who thrives on strength begins to look cornered, that's when the story changes dramatically. Let's be clear. This is not just about Donald Trump as an individual. This is about what he represents in America's social and political landscape. His troubles are not occurring in a vacuum. They are taking place in an economy where wages have stagnated, where inflation bites hard, and where ordinary Americans feel more betrayed than ever by elites of both parties. Trump tapped into that anger. He positioned himself as the outsider, the fighter, the businessman who knew how to fix it. But now the fighter finds himself surrounded, and the crowd is beginning to ask whether he can keep delivering the punches or if he's about to be knocked down himself. Think of it this way: every indictment, every lawsuit, every subpoena is not just a legal procedure. It's a test of whether Trump can maintain the illusion of invincibility. And illusions matter in politics. The moment people stop believing you're untouchable, the moment they begin to think you're vulnerable, everything changes. Allies hesitate, donors pull back, and opponents smell blood. That's the reality of power. And Donald Trump, for all his experience in branding and self.
So this place is in trouble. Okay? This place is in trouble. Watch this video, but shit ain't all good, and America ain't being made great again, man.
Promotion is learning the hard way that the system he once bent to his advantage is now pressing back against him harder than ever. Now, why does this matter to you, the American public? Because Trump's troubles are not just his. They are ours. They reflect the instability of a political system that allowed a figure like Trump to rise in the first place, and now struggles with how to deal with him as he falls. They expose the fragility of our institutions, the partisanship of our media, and the inability of either party to address the real grievances that gave Trump his base. In other words, his trouble is a mirror held up to the trouble of America itself. So, as we watch this play out,
because again, America's problems are deeper than niggas in the hood. Okay, niggas who ride around drinking Hennessy, E&J, and eating fried chicken all day. The America's problems are bigger than that. And you maggers have bought into this concept that, you know, if we just get these niggas out of the way, America will be, nah, man. Nah. Nah. Again, the scriptures say, Revelation 18:5, for her sins have reached unto the heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. What about what you've done? These comments. The snake is eating itself. This is why they burned down Black Wall Street. They found out we didn't need them. Okay? And if you're so damn tired of niggas, why didn't you let us continue in the spirit we were in back then? America cannot survive operating in racism. Our dollars have kept this country afloat for years. Jake's whole MO and energy is really why Babylon is Babylon. Jake even, Jake's wickedness forwards this place, man. You Edomites ain't that, you're overrated, man. Facts. And Target is claiming their CEO is stepping down when he's actually getting promoted is so obvious. The Target CEO just got a promotion. Stepping down from a position is all smoke and mirrors. They overplay their hand too bad. A change gonna come. And see, it ain't the change you, Jake, thinking are gonna come, man. The Babylon itself is going to be judged. Don't spend money where you are not wanted. Well, you just don't spend money in America, period. This ain't our fight. We just use this world but not abuse it, man. The Baton Rouge 1953 Montgomery bus boycott should have been a historical lesson, but it's also CRT, and they don't want to teach that. Yeah, America, the critical race theory, they don't want to teach the truth about their country. They're trying to erase, their history and present themselves as just these great innovators who really, brought greatness to the world. And, all right. America is losing out real bad with the educated professional immigrants leaving or not coming here due to racism. I'm okay eating my rice and beans as all the Trump supporters see their crops die. Oh, but see, then you got people who were Kamala supporters. That would have been even worse. So let's listen to a little bit more.
Remember this. Donald Trump is in much more trouble than anyone expected, not just legally, not just politically, but symbolically. The myth of Trump, the untouchable, Trump the winner, Trump the strongman, that myth is unraveling before our very eyes. And once that myth is gone, what remains may not only reshape his future, but the future of American politics for years.
This place is going to be destroyed, but you can watch the rest of that. Oh, I thought this was funny. Check this out.
So he got rid of all the DEI for LGBTQ and people of the color and race and blacks and Hispanic. He got rid of all that DEI, and he just replaced it with a new DEI called Jewish people, called Jewish people, called Jewish people. Trump betraying MAGA and becoming Israel first instead of America first. U.S. is going to link $1.9 billion in state disaster funds to Israel boycott stance. So if a state doesn't want to buy stuff from Israel and they do a boycott of...
Listen to what he said.
So he got rid of all the DEI for LGBTQ and people of the color and race and blacks and Hispanic. He got rid of all that DEI, and he just replaced it with a new DEI called Jewish people, called Jewish people, called Jewish people. Trump betraying MAGA and becoming Israel first instead of America first. U.S. is going to link $1.9 billion in state disaster funds to Israel boycott stance. So if a state doesn't want to buy stuff from Israel and they do a boycott of Israel products because they're committing a genocide, Donald Trump's federal government is going to deny you disaster funds. U.S. states and cities that boycott Israel companies will be denied federal aid for natural disaster preparedness, the Trump administration has announced, tying routine federal funding to its political stance.
Is there any states that are currently threatening to do that at all, by the way?
I think there is. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, the FEMA, stated in grant notices posted on Friday that states must follow its terms and conditions. This is the most... So now Israel is like a DEI hire for the Trump administration.
Who do you think benefits the most from DEI programs? Time's up. Black people? No. White women. Overwhelmingly. Now, there are a lot of reasons for that. And I'm not going to get into that now because that's a whole other discussion. But I will say that one of the reasons is that 50 years of affirmative action got a lot of women into the workplace where they were in a position to take advantage of a new push to say, hey, we need to look for qualified people. They were already in the workplace because of affirmative action. That was one of the reasons. But be that as it may. All right. So who's the second biggest beneficiary of DEI programs? Time's up. Black people?
You would think so. I mean, most people in America apparently think so.
Yeah, most people think so. No. The second biggest beneficiary of DEI programs is white men.
That's why I think this United story in the DEI...
See how you maggers have been deceived? Now, a lot of the policies and the things you're voting for are actually taking away opportunities from your dumb ass.
story hits so hard because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off, and I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't
that's
have done
not
that
who
before.
I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
I do.
I like my pilots white with yellow teeth and a thumbs up. Not to say Jake can't fly planes, but hey,
want to point out that various articles that appeared prior to my entering office, and here's one. The FAA's diversity push includes focus on hiring people with severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. That is amazing. And then it says FAA says people with severe disabilities are most underrepresented segment of the workforce, and they want them in, and they want them. They can be air traffic controllers. I don't think so.
Saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity.
And see, the whole blame went to Jake. DEI was just automatically tied to black people. The unqualified, because that whole woke shit.
Diversity hiring, and what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else.
White men, of course, are not a uniform group,
right?
As much as we think so. They are vets. They are disabled. They are LGBTQ, whatever. They are poor. And in all of those categories of diverse talent benefit from DEI programs, and they're all majority white.
Yep.
So of course white people are going to benefit more from DEI programs. And they're also going to be hurt the most by taking them away.
Man, I might have to do a whole video going into this whole video. Because the way this devil just deceived, you maggers, man. Ah, man. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch you all scramble and fall. Okay, y'all really thought that America was being made, white and great again. When your own elites don't give a shit about you either.
Way. And in all of those categories of diverse talent benefit from DEI programs, and they're all majority white.
How about you? Are you a white Jew?
So we could elaborate on this debate. I'm going to try to stay sort of in the pocket.
And the pride of their heart, and they go onto these platforms, they can't defend nothing. They don't know no facts. They stupid. Yeah, this is the end of the Edomite, man. So don't let this whole MAGA talk and, we're going to weaponize, ICE and this. They are about to lose. But prophetically, they will come down with great wrath. We know that as well,
Pocket here, or one thing at a time, but am I white passing? Absolutely. How we're going to define
You say you're white passing.
Well, joining us for our weekly segment, Bottom Line, is Algemeiner CEO David Efune. So, David, let's jump right in. Genetically speaking, are Jews white?
Well, Natasha, it's important to understand, firstly, the intense sensitivity that this question has for the Jewish community. And actually, it's coming up at a personally very relevant time.
I got to get this one, Elder Malcolm. I got to give him this video. I'm gonna send it to him. Check out that video though. Check this video out. It's off of We Woke Now. Israeli, the new DEI.
For me, today is the anniversary of the passing of my great-grandfather, David Weinstock, who was arrested by the Nazis in Vienna in September 1939, and he was taken to the anthropological department at the Vienna Museum of Natural History, and he was subjected to, together with 440 other Jews, to degrading tests and measurements because he was considered by the Nazis to be of an inferior race. So it really is the height of irony and insult that when Jews express concern about anti-Semitism being ignored and a blindness to anti-Semitism, they're then lumped into the white category.
And in all of those categories of diverse talent benefit from DEI programs, and they're all majority white.
I want to get Dr. Meyer's opinion on this. Classifying it as white Jew, because we know there's black Jews, you know. How does that make you feel? How does that initially hit you when I say, yeah, you know, if I said black and white Jewish relations?
I guess that's mostly what I deal with is in my courses is those interactions. I think again, in America, most Jews are Ashkenazic Jews who are white. Sometimes part of the problem between the two communities is that some people will take advantage of that, will use their whiteness as a way of promoting themselves, as a way of integrating themselves into whatever community.
Y'all are all Edomites, but I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that. I'm gonna get up out of here.
The streets of the United States of America are about to be clean swept by the National Guard and soon Marines walking across your street and mine. We have a lot of people out there showing that Chicago is the next area to be cleaned up. Let's see what the citizens had to say about it.
The military is here, Jordan. The military is here. They on the streets.
No more gang banging. No more people running through the streets running guns. No more trafficking. The streets of the United States.
Now that you got all of that taken care of, go stop the pedophilia. Go stop these meth heads, these fentanyl and infested Edomites, too.
States of America are about to be an entirely
raid the Catholic Church.
Different place. But here's what we have to set up for civil war. They're going to try to run a coup on the current president to the United States of America. They're going to try to take out of office through either force or some other way Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. Let's listen to what Mark Milley has to say.
We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator. We don't take an oath to an individual. We take an oath to the Constitution, and we take an oath to the idea that is America, and we're willing to die to protect it.
So you're going to have these certain of these, generals, they're going to fight back against what Trump is doing. So it's getting ready to be all kind of division. I'll actually get into this video on that other one in another news and prophecy I've kind of went over, but you know how I get down through the spirit. But, the thing is, we always bring this out. Isaiah 47:12, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, thou shalt be able to profit. If so, thou mayest prevail. So let's see if you're going to prevail. We'll be back with more. Shalom.